The day it happened, the air felt heavier than usual. Not stormy, not cold, just heavy, like the world itself was holding its breath. And maybe it was, because in one small house tucked at the end of a quiet street, two sisters were about to change each other's lives forever. Emma was the kind of girl people noticed without trying. Not because she was loud or flashy. Actually, it was the opposite. She carried herself like she knew secrets no one else did, and somehow that made people lean in. She had this way of smiling that looked both real and broken at the same time. The kind of smile that made you wonder what she wasn't saying. Her little sister, Lily, followed her everywhere. She was younger by 3 years, but anyone who saw them together would swear the bond between them was unshakable. Emma was Lily's protector, her guide, her best friend. But what Lily didn't know, not yet, was that Emma was carrying a weight she couldn't put down. It started showing in small ways. Emma stopped answering her friends' calls. She'd sit on the porch at sunset and stare at the sky, as if she was waiting for it to give her answers. Sometimes Lily would find her humming softly, an old tune their mother used to sing before she got sick. And though Emma never said it out loud, Lily could feel the distance growing, like her sister was drifting to a place she couldn't reach. But here's the thing about kids, they notice everything. Even when adults think they're hiding it well, children see the cracks. And Lily, as young as she was, started noticing cracks in her sister's world. One evening, Emma came into Lily's room without knocking. She sat on the edge of her bed, silent, her hands shaking ever so slightly. Lily didn't understand it then, but that night was different. Emma didn't tell her a bedtime story, didn't remind her to brush her teeth, didn't even fuss about the messy pile of dolls on the floor. She just sat there, staring at her sister like she was memorizing every detail. And then she whispered the words that would echo in Lily's heart for years. Goodbye. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was soft, almost like a secret. But Lily heard it, and she knew. She just knew. It wasn't the kind of goodbye you say when you leave for school or go to sleep. It was heavier, final. And before Lily could even ask what she meant, Emma kissed her forehead, stood up, and walked out. The house fell silent after that. Too silent. Lily lay there wide-eyed, her chest tight, listening for her sister's footsteps, but they never came back. Hours passed, and the night swallowed everything in shadows. That was the night Emma disappeared. But here's the part no one expected. When Emma's goodbye vanished into the dark, Lily heard something else. A whisper. Faint, but real. A whisper that said, "Hello." And that's where everything truly began. Before that night, before Emma's whispered goodbye, life in the small, creaky house wasn't perfect, but it was theirs. The sisters had learned early on that family didn't always mean the kind you see on TV. Their dad had left when Lily was just a toddler, and their mom, though loving, had been in and out of the hospital for years. That left Emma, the older one, to pick up the pieces. She wasn't just a sister. She was everything: cook, babysitter, tutor, and, in many ways, the only parent Lily truly had. Emma never complained, at least not out loud. She kept her struggles tucked away behind tired eyes, and that half-smile she wore like armor. Lily saw her as unbreakable, someone who could carry the whole world on her back. But even unbreakable people have cracks. Emma had dreams once, big ones. She used to talk about leaving their small town, going to college, maybe even traveling the world. But reality didn't leave her much room for dreaming. Bills piled up, their mom's health got worse, and Emma's role as caretaker swallowed every ounce of her future. She traded school dances for late-night shifts, textbooks for hospital forms. And though she never said it, Lily could feel the disappointment seeping into the quiet corners of their home. Still, they had each other. Nights when the power got cut off, they lit candles and made shadow puppets on the walls. When their mom had good days, she'd sit on the couch and hum while Emma braided Lily's hair. And when things were at their darkest, Emma would squeeze Lily's hand and whisper, "As long as we're together, we'll be okay." But slowly, that promise started to feel like a question Emma couldn't answer. There were signs, tiny, fleeting, but clear enough if you knew her. Emma began writing in her old notebooks again, pages filled with words Lily wasn't allowed to read. She spent more time alone, staring into the distance, as if the world she wanted was right there, but locked behind glass. And sometimes, in the middle of the night, Lily would wake up to the sound of muffled crying through the thin walls. Lily tried to fix it the only way a child knows how, by being present. She'd bring Emma flowers from the yard, silly drawings, little treasures she found on the walk home from school. And every time, Emma would smile, pull her into a hug, and say, "You're the best thing I've got. You know that?" But it wasn't enough. The weight on Emma's shoulders kept growing heavier, and no matter how much love her little sister gave, something inside her was slipping away. And then came that night. That whisper. That goodbye. What Lily didn't understand, what no one did, was that Emma wasn't just walking out of the house. She was stepping into something much darker, something that had been calling to her for months. And Lily, left behind in the silence, didn't know it yet, but that same darkness was about to notice her too. The morning after Emma's goodbye was the first time Lily woke up to silence. No footsteps in the kitchen, no clatter of spoons, no humming of that old lullaby. Just silence. At first, she thought maybe Emma had gone to the store, or maybe she was still asleep. But as Lily crept through the house, room by room, she found nothing. Emma's bed was neatly made. Her shoes were gone. And her favorite sweater, the one she wore every night, was missing from the chair. That's when the panic set in. Lily ran to her mom, who was still half asleep, her face pale from another night of coughing. "Mom, Emma's gone," she blurted out. But her mother just sighed, as if it was another small problem on a long list. "She probably just needed a walk," she murmured, before drifting back into her pillow. But Lily knew better. Emma didn't just take walks. Not without saying where she was going. Not without her. The hours dragged on. Neighbors came by, asking casual questions, their eyes darting with curiosity. By evening, whispers started circling. Some said Emma had finally run away, tired of carrying so much responsibility. Others hinted at darker things. None of it made sense to Lily. All she had was that last word, that soft, haunting goodbye replaying in her head. And then there was the other thing. The whisper. She hadn't told anyone about it, not even her mom. Because how could she? Who would believe that in the silence of her room, after Emma left, she heard a voice, faint but clear, say, "Hello?" It wasn't Emma's voice. It wasn't her mother's. It felt strange, like someone, or something, was stepping into the space her sister had left behind. At night, Lily started hearing it again. Sometimes faintly, just her name. Other times, it was closer, like someone was sitting on the edge of her bed. She would sit up, heart pounding, but the room was always empty. And yet, a part of her couldn't stop listening. Because deep down, Lily had the awful feeling that if she ignored the voice, she might never find Emma again. What she didn't know was that the voice wasn't done with her. In fact, it was just getting started. Days turned into weeks, but Emma never came home. Flyers went up around town, police asked questions, and the house became a revolving door of neighbors offering casseroles and pity. But beneath it all, life inside those four walls grew quieter and stranger. Lily was the only one who felt it. The house wasn't just empty without Emma, it felt watched. At night, she'd hear the creak of floorboards, the soft rustle of something moving in the hall. Sometimes she swore she saw shadows shift in corners where no one was standing. And always, the whisper was there. It began to take shape. At first it was just hello. Then it was her name, Lily. Gentle, coaxing, like it wanted her to follow. She tried to tell herself it was her imagination, maybe even a dream. But the voice wasn't just in her head. It lingered in the air, like a breath against her ear. One night, unable to stand it any longer, Lily whispered back, "Who are you?" The silence that followed stretched so long she thought she'd gone crazy for asking. But then, in the faintest hush, came the reply, "Your sister." Her stomach dropped. It was Emma's voice. Not exactly, but close enough to twist her heart. She wanted to believe it, needed to believe it. But something was off. Something in the tone felt wrong. Still, desperation can make you blind. And Lily was desperate. From that moment on, she started listening more closely. The whisper became her secret, her lifeline. Whenever she asked where Emma was, the voice would giggle softly, like a child hiding behind a curtain. Close, it said. So close. But then came the night Lily followed it. She woke to the sound of her name, spoken not once, but over and over, growing louder, sharper. She slipped out of bed, her bare feet cold against the wooden floor, and trailed the sound down the hallway. Past the kitchen, past her mother's sleeping form, to the basement door. The basement had always scared her. It smelled of damp earth and old memories. Emma never let her go down there alone. But now, the voice was calling from the darkness below. Lily, come see. Her hand shook on the doorknob. She could almost hear Emma's laugh, the way she used to tease her. Tears stung her eyes as she whispered back, Emma? Is it really you? The voice didn't answer with words this time. Instead, the door creaked open on its own, revealing the yawning black of the basement stairs. Cold air rushed up, wrapping around her like arms. Lily stood frozen, heart hammering so loud she swore the whole house could hear it. She knew she shouldn't go down. Every part of her screamed to turn back. But then, just as she stepped forward, she heard something new. Not a whisper, not a breath, a cry. Emma's cry. And that was the moment Lily realized the truth was waiting for her in the dark. Lily's foot touched the first step, and the cry below turned sharp, like Emma was in pain. She gripped the railing, her whole body trembling, and forced herself down into the dark. Each step groaned, the air growing colder, thicker, until she could barely breathe. Halfway down, the voice changed. It wasn't Emma anymore. It was deeper, rougher. Closer, closer. Lily froze, her blood running cold. That wasn't her sister. She knew it now. But then, in the pitch black, something flickered, a glow. Not from the floor, from the wall. Scratched into the cement were words, glowing faintly in chalk-white letters. Lily's name, dozens of times, layered over each other like someone had been writing it for weeks. And at the very bottom, one line stood out, written larger, darker. When she said goodbye, she gave me hello. Before Lily could even scream, the basement door slammed shut behind her. And this time, the whisper wasn't faint. It roared, filling every corner of the basement. Two sisters, one soul. She gave me hers, now I'll take yours. The basement roared with the voice, shaking the walls as Lily stumbled back against the stairs. Her chest heaved, tears blurring her vision. But beneath the terror, one truth cut sharper than the rest. Emma hadn't left her. She had given herself up to this. And now it wanted Lily too. From the far corner, a shadow peeled itself from the dark, tall and twisted, its outline flickering like smoke. It moved closer, dragging Emma's voice behind it like a puppet string. Lily, don't be scared. I'm here. Lily pressed her hands over her ears. You're not Emma, she screamed. You'll never be her. The thing laughed, low and rattling, and for a moment the air throbbed with silence. Then Lily heard it, a faint, desperate sound buried beneath the laughter. Her sister's real voice. Lily, run. Her breath caught. Emma was still in there, fighting. And if Emma was fighting, Lily couldn't give up. She remembered the nights they'd spent huddled together, Emma promising, as long as we're together, we'll be okay. Lily forced herself to step forward. If you want me, you'll have to let her go first. The shadow lunged, wrapping the room in ice. Lily screamed her sister's name, pouring every ounce of love and fear and hope into that one word. Emma. For a split second, the shadow cracked. Emma's face flickered through it. Tired, broken, but hers. Tears ran down her cheeks. Goodbye, Lily, she whispered again. But this time, her voice wasn't heavy. It was free. The shadow shrieked, splintering into nothing, its roar dissolving into silence. And just like that, Emma was gone. The basement was empty, cold. Lily collapsed to the floor, sobbing, believing it was truly over. But as her cries echoed against the cement, she felt it again, warmth against her ear. A whisper, soft, gentle. Hello. Her heart stopped. Because this time, it wasn't the darkness. It was Emma. The house felt different after that night. Quieter, yes, but no longer heavy, no longer suffocating with shadows. The basement stayed locked, and Lily never heard the dark voice again. But she did hear something else. Emma. Not always, not clearly, but enough. Sometimes when Lily was lying in bed, she'd feel her sister's presence beside her, warm like sunlight through a window. She'd hear the soft hum of that lullaby their mother used to sing, the one Emma would carry on when nights were hard. It was faint, but it was hers. Real. The world outside moved on. Neighbors stopped asking questions. Flyers faded in the rain. Even the police closed the file, chalking it up to another runaway who'd never come back. Their mother tried to believe that too, telling herself Emma would call someday. But Lily knew better. Emma hadn't run away. She had stayed, just in a different way. And Lily carried that truth like a secret. She started talking to Emma at night, whispering into the quiet, and every so often, the air would answer back. Not in words, not always, but in a feeling, a comfort, a reminder that goodbye doesn't always mean the end. Sometimes it's the start of something you can't quite explain. The voice in the basement had tried to steal Emma, tried to claim both sisters. But Emma had chosen differently. She had given herself to protect Lily, just like she always did. Even in the end, Emma's promise held true. As long as we're together, we'll be okay. Years later, when Lily was older, she would look back on that night not only with fear, but with gratitude. Because it taught her something people rarely understand until it's too late. That love doesn't vanish when someone leaves. It lingers. It shifts. It whispers in the quiet moments when you feel alone. And though Emma never came back through the door, Lily never truly lost her. She carried her sister in every laugh, every breath, every heartbeat. The last thing Emma had said was goodbye. But Lily had learned that wasn't the last word after all. Because each time she closed her eyes, each time the dark crept close, she'd hear it. Gentle, steady, unshakable. Hello. And somehow that was enough.